Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So I'll start the questions for her then. So, when you read the first time when you read the script for season 5, and when you learned what was going to happen, what was your reaction?
Wow.
Oh, pretty excited. I think we were all. It had been so long since we had worked, and the shooting was pushed because of the writer's strike for 6 months. So when we sat down and we got in the room and we read the scripts, it was just really exciting to, the idea of diving into this whole year's worth of work and just devoting the time to this thing that we really love and pouring ourselves into it because, it's this final conclusion on this huge chapter for all of us, and I'll kind of speak for us all, but I think we just wanted to do it justice, and the fans that have been fans of this for so long and grown up with us, we wanted to kind of do it for them. So that was the way that I think I was feeling, at least.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
I think there's also a bit of surprise. I mean, I think we wrap seasons and you don't really, the Duffers keep it kind of tight-lipped as to where it's going, and especially this season, I think we really didn't know a lot of what was going to happen and, where we were going to even start off and what was going to be going on and what's happened in the meantime. So there is, an element of okay, wow, here's this whole new chapter of this story we're about to embark on, and you're taking it in the same way that I guess, the audience members will be taking it in, which is always just a really exciting thing to see where the Duffers and the writers, where their head is at with it.
Great, wonderful. Especially with the 80s fashion that the Stranger Things is known for, with the hairstyle and music and so on. So, what moments on set made you think that this is what makes Stranger Things so magical? And how did you incorporate that vibe of that particular time into your performance?
Well, the thing about the 80s, I think, is that there's so many incredible films from the 80s and so many great movies about high schoolers and young people from that time period. It was kind of, in my mind, tell me if this is wrong, but kind of like the birth of the teen movie. Was in the 80s. Yeah, that's right? Before the 80s, totally. Teen movies weren't really, that market hadn't been quite tapped yet. And so I think there was so much inspiration there. And I know that when I started on this show, I was so inspired by The Breakfast Club and by Ali Sheedy, and just that combination of identities and personalities, right? That's what The Breakfast Club is all about, is all these people ended up in this room. They're all really different. They shouldn't be friends, but they are. They become friends, through this experience. And I think that energy of the popular girl and the dork and the jock and the freak and the this, that crash is sort of where the show started. And now where it is this kind of modern evolution of that 80s trope, where really now you've got a family built together and people who have all grown and changed because of the way that, because I knew you, to quote Wicked. So I don't know, I guess, does that qualify as an answer to your question?
Yeah, it was a lovely answer. Thank you so much. And so were there a moment on set when you thought oh my God, this is really going to be the end? And isn't it a touching moment or an emotional moment that really struck you that this is going to be the final?
I mean, personally, I felt throughout the season, you were very, you're very aware it's the last time, and there's so many lasts. It's from the moment we get there in January, it's the last, it's the last first table read you do, it's the last first fitting, and throughout the season, it kind of comes in waves. You could be halfway through production, and I guess you're standing on these sets that you've been on. Some of them you might have been on for the last 10 years, and you're looking around, and it just kind of hits you in different moments.
Knocking Hawkins' lab down.
Something
they're knocking the school down.
That where they're where you're kind of aware of oh, they're destroying that set. If you want to see it, you have to go see it now because they're gonna get rid of it, and that's your last chance to ever see it ever. And it's
it was kind of, to that it was kind of, as we got to the end of the show, that was the case. We shot in Atlanta in Screen Gems, and they have something 15 or 17 sound stages that they build all these sets in, and they're always full. And then towards the end, they're all empty, and it's kind of mind-blowing. You have like 2 stages left, and there's been so much life in these sound stages, and so many people building things and acting things, and these giant sets, and they're kind of, it's all gone, and it's kind of a bit like a fever dream. And then not only that, just to get you into the experience of it, but then, you know, you're all coming to an end as cast members, and, you know, you're saying goodbye, and it's just very, you know, you're living it. It's very real.
I'm going to try to get through all 4 of your you to comment on all 4 of your characters. So I'll start with Joe. You know, Steve embodied this most relatable hero archetype. You know, he has this, you know, comedy relief moments, and then but he also has this wholesome moment. So like, you know, what has the character Steve become for you?
I'm too close to really know. I don't know. I'm too close to really understand it. It's like a part of me, and I feel like a lot of it is based on my natural intuition. But coming back this year, it's interesting to see how we're not the same also. And it'll be interesting to see in 5 years what my feelings towards the character are. But the main thing I know is that I'm so thankful for the opportunity, for the people that we worked with, and for a role that I feel like I really could like sink my teeth into and understand. So yeah, that's the way I feel about it.
Love that.
Maya, what about playing Robin? Do you think you've personally become stronger in any way because you've played her?
I think I really have. I mean, I think it like, you know, in some ways playing Robin forced me to reckon with a lot of different parts of myself. Even seeing, you know, people talk about sometimes the way that the Duffers write, you know, based sometimes a little bit inspired by the actor's natural behavior and like speech patterns, and facing up to some of that was occasionally painful. Like being like, oh wow, you know, I'd be like, why does Robin talk so much? And they'd look at me like, what do you mean? You know, like you talk so much, and me being like, oh God, like, you know, there were some ways in which playing this character made me reckon with the way that reckon with my reflection in the mirror in a way that I never had before. And offered an opportunity both to accept parts of myself that I hadn't yet, and to push me to grow and you know, move out of habits that were based off of anxiety, and habits that were people, you know, like people pleasing or trying to undermine yourself. You know, I think a lot of young women develop a kind of personality trait that's like, oops, I'm so sorry. I didn't even mean to be here. Aren't I just the worst? I'm so clumsy. Like, you know, in order to kind of protect themselves from anyone saying that about them. And I think playing Robin really offered me the opportunity to grow out of that.
So yes, Talia, Charlie, we love both your characters, but time's up. So thank you all. We wanted to hear
Real quick,
more from you, but yes, but thank you so much for all your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.